How you guys doing? Oh man, we have had quite a day here.
Hey.
We've been traveling all day. We're still in the car. You can see Vicky's daddy is in the back taking a little nap.
It is crazy,
It's
you guys.
crazy, but we are in Santa Fe. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If you ever fly into Santa Fe,
Hi, everybody.
it is the smallest airport in the world.
It is small.
And we flew in with bags and stuff like that, and it's been a little challenge. Didn't realize it was that small, but we're here for this conference.
We're here.
Music publishing conference.
Maybe you can move it back a little bit. Like, I think there we go. That's good. We're just gonna have to hold it.
Yeah. So we're here and we're really excited. But I'm telling you, we got a really great guest today.
We do. We have none under. Seriously, she's one of the greatest promoters in faith-based music, and she's going to talk to us about how to get our projects. I'm so tired, you guys. The elevation is high up here, and I'm trying to get my lungs ready for it, and I don't know. But I'm try. I mean, I am out of breath. I am seriously out of breath.
Hey, you guys. Hey, so we're really excited.
Hi, Vicki. Hi, Clyde.
Girl,
only do.
God.
It's a car. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Crazy.
We in Santa Fe.
Oh, girl.
Yes,
I don't know.
I love it.
You ever
World travel.
Out here in Santa Fe?
Yeah, you gospel radio.
Right.
Yeah, I just said.
Oh my gosh! When I tell you, we haven't even gotten to our hotel yet. My dad's in the back. I don't know if you can see him. Dad, can you? Oh,
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey, Mr. Mack, how are you?
It's Tracey, Daddy.
Tracey, just pop in and say hi.
Hi, Tracey.
Hi. How are you? So good to see you. I love you.
Love you too. You're so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
We call him Mr. 94.
Yeah, he's 94 years old now, and he's
God is so good.
God is good. He's coming up here to golf.
Yeah,
I love it. Do it.
Monday. You know, this elevation is like 7,000 feet. You got to get acclimated. So.
It's crazy. Hi, Busta. How you doing, girl? Hi, Ben. Hi, Carla. I saw you all. Well, you guys, this is one of the most incredible people. If you want to know one of the reasons Gospel Centric was so successful, you're looking at it.
That's right.
This is the woman who did our radio promotion for years for some of the biggest gospel records of all time. She has her own promotions company, but not only that, she's an entrepreneur in her own right, and she is one of the biggest promoters, I'd say, in the world when it comes to faith-based music. And we love her. She's family. This woman is loyal. There have been some people that have turned their backs on us. Tracey Artis is not that kind of person. And I want to right now and let everybody know this is a woman who, in many ways, when it came to marketing and radio, made it happen for us. That's everybody, true. Please welcome Miss Tracey Artis.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing good. Honored to be with you all.
You look good, girl.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
We didn't get a chance to let everybody know as we were traveling, but I do want to let them know now that you'll be able to see this also on YouTube under Vicki, Mack, hey, Jay Black, and we'll have some others as well who will be able to, we're going to also be reporting it on our Instagram, and Tracey can play it on hers as well.
YouTube channel.
On the YouTube channel, yes.
But I'm sure a lot of people are looking for, Jay Black come in because he's trying to bite off some knowledge. That's no way.
Yeah.
You can buy some knowledge off right here.
Right, and it looks like we've only got 7 people, but that's the way it goes. It's got 100 people or so that are on right now.
Awesome.
That's the way it goes. So I don't know why it works that way, but we got about 100 people on right now. But
okay.
this is crazy. As long as we work together, I never really known your background. Were you born in Cincinnati? Tell us about that.
Okay. I'm a native of Cincinnati, Ohio, born and raised here. I grew up in a suburb called Wyoming for many years, and then we moved to Woodlawn. And Woodlawn was the home of my grandparents, and so my mom had been raised in that community. So yeah, love Cincinnati. Went further north to Ohio University to college. And then after leaving college, moved to Atlanta, which is where I met the Latias, just through relationship I had with other people. I was living in Atlanta at the time.
Right. And you're also, I call it part of Cincinnati royalty. Pull your camera down a little bit so we can see your whole face, Tracey.
Okay.
So yeah, you're part. There we go. You're part of Cincinnati royalty because of your mother. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. My mother went to be with the Lord about 2 years ago. She was the mayor of the suburb that I grew up in, Woodlawn, for about 20 years. And she served on council in that community for 7 years. She was the first Black female mayor of that town and did a lot to revitalize and bring development there to the community. They named a street after her a couple months before she gained her wings. So on the very street that her church is on and where her offices were held, it's now called Susan Upton Farley Way.
Yeah. You gave me goosebumps with that.
Yes.
You gave me goosebumps with that. So that's beautiful. I always, she always made me laugh. That woman was so brilliant. She would just tell me like it was.
Yes. She was very, 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 very proud of all that you did in business, and you and Clyde. And she loved the way that I loved and respected you and all the things that you did for me. So, I mean, me and her had so many conversations about my work in the industry, and, she just loved everything about it. And so, do I. So do I. I stand on your shoulders.
We have something in common because my mom was mayor also, and my father, of course, and I think has a little crush on you too. So that is all good. But Tracey, one of the things we wanted to talk about that everybody listens to. Why do we have reverb, I wonder? Oh, I don't know. It's kind of repeating on us. I don't know. Can you guys hear us? There's no repeating.
I can hear you great.
Okay, so my question is, a lot of people really want to know, if you're a new artist, how these days can you get a record started and get major airplay? What do you have to do? Let's say if I just started, I made a record and I feel that I'm worthy of major airplay.
Yeah, the team that's around you will always be how your music gets played. You just have to make sure that Vicki is solid gospel music that can compete with what's out there. So I tell people all the time, it's really more than just, I wanted to record. I love this song. I believe in testing your music. I believe in listening to what is already out there. What will you be competing against? And then a lot of times finances.
Testing music. I want to get in there because people think my wife likes, my mother likes, my dad. So everybody loves
that. You test the music with the decision makers. So everybody has terrestrial radio most often in their market. So I would go to that program or music director at that station, and I would say, this is a single or this is a song that I'm interested in sending to radio. Would you play this, Alex Snipe at WFMV, who's a good friend of ours and the GM and owner of the station? That's an example because I work with an artist in his market, and that's what I admonish that artist to do. I said, if you are in Columbia, then WFMV is right there in your market. So when he took it to the station, Alex listened to it, and then Tony G, the PD, and they liked it. I said, now with your permission, I'll take this song and I'll send it to other program directors. And I chose program and music directors that were strategically in markets across the country, right? Atlanta, someone in Chicago, someone in Washington, D.C. And so the feedback that I got on the particular song, you know, was really good. So that's what you should do. You should test your music. You should make sure that it's under 4 minutes if possible, because radio is not going to play very long songs. I don't believe in they're just not going to do it. People sometimes send me songs that are 5, 6 minutes. They may let some of your major artists get away with that, but when you're just starting out, you don't want to have a lot of talking or narrating to intro your song.
Right. Well, I have a quick question for you. Now to back up that single, that artist, you know, how important is like YouTube views, social media? How important is that in trying to launch your record or your artist?
I think all of it is very relevant. What Vicki initially asked was, you know, as a new artist, how do I get airplay? So Clyde, now you're saying, so how do I enlarge my territory, if you will? How am I going to be able to increase my numbers and my followers on Instagram and Facebook? Should I have a YouTube channel? You should have all of that. But I think oftentimes things come in stages, Clyde, because sometimes for new artists, they're just that, they're new. But I admonish people to just look at everything that's happening in the industry and make sure that you're following that wave.
Right. Yeah. Because, okay, I think you answered it, but the question was really, do you look at the things? If I, you know, artist, you know, so I'm coming with a single, yes, you listen to, are there other things that you look at those other things as well? And would you tell me, hey, you need to go back and get this and that together? Or can you really, like you were saying, kind of start off with a great, it's all about the song, and see what that, I'm just sorry.
Yeah, there's a myriad of other things I look at, down to the look of the person, right? Their wardrobe, the way they articulate, their ability to interview, their ability to navigate throughout the country. Because all that's irrelevant. You're going to have to move to grow your brand and the music. So there's a lot of different things that I look at when I'm initially working with a new artist, but I also believe in teams. So a lot of times, I give an example. I'm working with Pastor E. Dewey Smith, and it was my first time working with him. And he's already a mega preacher, already pastors thousands of people in Atlanta at House of Hope. But we built a team around Pastor Smith so that someone was there to handle everything for him. But of course, that does take finances. So the question then becomes, so what if I don't have a lot of money, you know? And what if I don't right now have a team? You know, can I get a song played on gospel radio? I would say, yes, you can. It just has to be a good song. It all still starts with a quality song.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bottom line.
I know people call us all the time wanting help from us. But as you know, we sold our company to what is it called now?
RCA.
And but I can't even talk to a person for me if they don't have social networking. If I can't see that they have got somewhat of a following, I mean, I think it takes about a year before you can even see anything happen at radio if you don't have some kind of following and some radio. And without that, these days, a lot of companies just can't do it. So it's almost in a lot of cases where you have to be your own company at first. Do you find that to be the case?
I do. I find a lot of artists that I've worked with already maybe had a built-in team. Let's be honest. I know I've had male artists where their wives manage them, right? I've had female artists where their husbands work with them and manage them. So a lot of people are building, you know, their own little network, their own little group of people to help them get out. And I do think that numbers are big, but I still believe it just starts with a great song. I've had music that I really do. I've had songs that I sent to gospel radio, and the person didn't have everything initially, but over time they got it. And that's one of my mottos. Everything won't happen overnight, but it'll happen over time. So you just have to walk it out. Wait it out too.
Well, here's another part of that is, what are the components of a good team?
What are the
components?
yeah.
Of a good team.
Of a good team, someone that's faithful. They're going to run that race with you. Someone that's loyal. They're not just going to walk away. Someone that has knowledge. They don't have to be a vet. I couldn't have been a vet when I first started, right? I was brand new. I had only worked at Air Records for a short period of time. But what I was about my artist, who was Byron Cage, my first artist, I was loyal. I was faithful. I believed in his music and in his ministry. And I was willing to learn. I was willing to study. So, you know what? I went to everything. I met everybody that I could. I sat at people's feet.
Went to everything. Like, what does that mean? Went to everything.
In Atlanta, there were always a lot of like Gospel Music Workshop of America will come there. People at churches were having workshop classes. The internet wasn't really big back then, because when I started working with Byron, it was like 93, 94. So there was still a lot of grassroots marketing efforts that were going on. So I just latched on to that. When I would meet someone, like I remember meeting Milton Bingham, okay? And at the time, Savoy was big, and, the choirs were doing well. I made sure I got an audience with him. I wanted to hear from him. I remember meeting Teresa Harrison. She was still working in the music industry then. This was probably even before SCORE. I had a conversation with her. I wanted to get to know her. I remember meeting John Eskew. He had written He's Worthy for Cathedral of Faith, and they won a stellar like that next year. Amazing songwriter. He's gone now, but I remember wanting to have a conversation with him because I've always been passionate about the industry and all facets of it, So just sitting at people's feet and gaining knowledge.
Right. So let me just kind of expand a little bit. So you have, this artist, he has a radio, promoter. Does he have
she would be the promoter,
right? And then would that artist have somebody that works social media, somebody that does booking, do all of these different pieces, that you try to get. Of course, you might not have all those pieces, but at some point you want to try to move towards getting all these other different pieces.
Just go back.
Yeah, I think all of that is important. I think if you can, when you can, bring all those people together. But a lot of times for new artists, that doesn't happen. Again, it might not happen overnight, but it'll happen over time. And so, but if you are fortunate enough early on to get connected with a label, then they will, more than likely have those components to help you. But if you're just starting, it's just you and one of your friends, you're just getting started, I just still say the internet is probably your best friend. It's so much information out there, and a lot of it is good, accurate information about next steps. Someone called me recently and said, I have a single, would love for you to hear it. I love the song. They already had it encoded. I was impressed. So they already had went to MediaBase. They already had found out how to get the song encoded with BDS. They already had a photo shoot, and they didn't spend a lot of money on the photo shoot. So they already had pictures. They asked me, did I know anyone that did bios? I did. And so I referred them to that guy. So a lot of times it's just, again, getting before people and having conversations with them about next steps.
That's beautiful.
The other thing that is important, I think, is having a spirit of humility.
Yes.
Because it comes to people like us thinking that you know everything and you think it's going to be number one in 5 months, stuff like that. I don't know where that reverb is coming from. It's a big turn, because we know that just sometimes to get in the top 30,
yes,
a year,
right,
to get in the top 30, if at all, it could take a year. Or you may get on the first single just around top 30, but you can't get any further, and you have to go to a second single. And remember, that whole time you're paying that promoter. That is the real world. But if you're grand and think, oh, it's just, your record is so great, it's not happening, it's a turn off to everybody.
That's how you test it. Is it really that?
Even when you test sometimes, you
Mm-hmm.
won't pass top 30 in a year.
No, I'm just saying that if you have to, like you said, you have to be humble to accept
To
the
accept
feedback that people give you.
that it
You
may
do.
take 2, 3 singles to get there.
It may.
You know, it
Mhm.
may.
To mention, I don't want to go down this road, but in terms of feedback on the single, many times I know they gave Vicki a single, and she would say, it's not quite there. We need to do this, that to the song, or so you get feedback on that particular
You're asking if we're playing through the car.
Because
Turn the car off. Okay, did
So
it
what?
go away?
So, Clyde, that is important. You know, a lot of times what you were sharing is that Vicki would ask for a song to be tweaked, you know, and that's happened to me often so many times in my career. I remember having the Andre Crouch project, the last project that he put out before he passed. And the song that I was given was a beautiful song, but it wasn't a breakout single. But, you know, it had already been chosen by the producer and the label head. So after working it for 2-3 months, you know, I wanted to have an audience to tell the label head, because he had me working with someone else from his team. You know, I said, you know, this is just not the song, but it's a good song. And so finally I got an audience with Mano Haynes, and he said, well, Tracey, if that's not the song, what is it? And I said, well, it's a song on there called Let the Church Say Amen. Would you let me put that one out? And he was like, oh, you really like that? And I said, yeah, I really think that's a good song. And so what I loved about that is that he trusted me. And that's you need to be humble, but you also need to trust your team and the people that are around you if you gave them a job to do. So he trusted me with that song. I knew it was a hit, you know. And that's happened to me on more than one occasion. And another song, they're not new artists, but this project was new. When Carew Records did GEI, their youth choir, okay? Greater Emmanuel Institution, right? And so I had the single Hang On, written by Derek Starks, performed by the choir and Kier Shear. So it was on its way, you guys, to a #1. And when it got to like a top 5, the person that was working at the label at the time said, you know what, we've exhausted so much money here. You know, we just think we're gonna fold it. And I said, huh, what? You can't do that. It's top 5. So also it's you remaining humble, you trusting your team, but also having the knowledge to be able to run the race, right? And the finances, because #1 songs may not translate the way they did when I started in the industry, but it's still great to have on your resume if you had a #1 song. So I just admonish everybody, run the race too. Make sure you walk it out. You know, finish it. Yeah.
Finish the race.
Finish the race.
Yeah, finish the race. Yes.
Now with me, I don't like people to come and tell me what the single is.
Right.
Because normally, how do you know if you haven't said it?
Right.
You say, I like this song, and Radio 1 has committed to playing it. That's a whole different thing. Or you tell me about 10 different stations that said they like it too. Otherwise, don't pick the single for me.
Okay.
Because I don't know and you don't know. I like to test. I might know a little bit better, but a lot of times I don't know either. A lot of times if an artist gives me a project, I'll have a personal favorite, and usually it will be a single, but it doesn't matter what you like, and it doesn't matter what your family likes. It matters what radio likes.
Right.
Going to radio.
I totally agree. I think you should test it at radio, but after having done it for so long, for me, 26 years, I have an ear. So that's why I knew that The Promise wasn't the song, but Let the Church Say Amen was the song. And there have been times where I have songs that I didn't test. I knew Marvin Sapp, All in Your Hands was a hit. I didn't test the single I just put out on him. It was a hit. And he had a track record. So there's a difference between oftentimes a new artist that doesn't have a track record and an established artist that does.
Right. And when you've had like 100 number ones or records
Right.
on gold and platinum,
Yes.
a lot of times we kind of know. Like I
Yes.
said, I'll never say my opinion is the only opinion. But for
Right.
me, what I'll do a lot of times is I'll say, this project is good, but you need to change the intro, or you need to change the end, or you need to make the bridge a little bit longer, because I come from an A&R situation.
Right.
And it'll usually be right on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
you're with just what you think, especially if you're a new artist. Oh, Jay Black wants to know if you even know how many number ones have you had, Tracey?
So I did a discography a while back, you know, just trying to calculate all of that. And I think I was around 41.
Wow. Number ones at way back then.
No, this when I did this a couple months ago, it would have encompassed some of my artists that I maybe even worked when I became an independent. So I'll name some, like Charles Jenkins.
Right.
So we've had Awesome, we've had War, we've had Grace, we've had He'll Make It All Right. Byron, you know, I've had a ton of number ones with Byron. I've had Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It, Best in Me, My Testimony.
Those are all your independents.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Even after Gospel Central, the Clark sisters, I just had Victory and His Love, 2 number ones for them on their last project. So, and this year, let me see. This year I had Kenny Lewis and Charles Jenkins, He's Been Good, and I had my Tasha Cobbs. This single on her called Gotta Believe. She and I have had a great run as well. We had You Know My Name, I'm Getting Ready, In Spite of Me, and then we just had Gotta Believe. Brian Courtney Wilson, looking at my Motown wall over here, he and I had a great work, and then Still, and now I have a new single on him as well. So, but let me tell you guys about all the number ones. Means nothing to me the way it may mean to other people, but having had the opportunity to work with all the artists, I'm always proud of them. Working at Gospel Centric and seeing Kurt Carr have number ones, and Walter Hawkins and Kurt Franklin and Dorinda Clark Cole. You want me to tell you what I really was excited about? That I worked for an African-American female who built a label, and I was able to work there for many years, and I was promoted to a vice president while there, and this was a Black-owned company. So sometimes I think what other people maybe were excited about, that wasn't what I was excited about, okay? So this office is filled with all these gold and platinum records. If I just walked around the office now with my phone, the walls are, and I'm excited about that, you guys. But let me tell you, greater than the records, I'm excited that God trusted me with this and that I've been able to do it for decades. Love it.
That is so great. Well, see, you guys, I want you to see something here too. If you want to attract someone the level of a Tracey Artis, she's not going to tell you that she'll say she'll work with anybody, and she will in a way. But if you really want to get someone of that caliber to work with you, you need to get that social networking, have a great song, and be humble. You need to have all these things in place, as well as, I'm going to tell you a big thing that she's not talking about, but it comes up all the time. You need to have your music clear.
Yeah.
She give her a record and you've got samples of someone else's song, or you wrote with somebody and said, oh, no, that's my boy, it's going to be all right. That does not work. You have no friends when you've got a hit record. You have to have every single person that came into that studio accounted for, from the producer to anybody that came into there, because they may say later on that they helped you write. So you have to make sure it's clear, and you have to make sure that if you came from a major label to what you think you're now independent, you need to make sure you are properly cleared and you are in fact cleared to do a record on your own. Because sometimes you may think you're free and you're not. You're still with that label. and a person
Yes.
like Tracey is getting you this airplay, and everything has to stop.
But I thought, Tracey, correct me, that now because of the database that they have to have every set up, you have to have all the publishing, all the stuff has to be clean when you register that record, right? Or just coming later.
No, I mean, you know what? Mediabase or BDS won't know when you encode a song whether or not it's been cleared, whether or not there's been any copyright infringement or any of that. So to Vicki's point, yes, it definitely needs to happen. I'm not a label and I'm not an attorney. So when artists come to me, I also admonish them to make sure they have an attorney, to make sure all of the legal stuff is handled. Yes, very, very important.
Hi, Bishop Greg Davis. Hi, Judy Neal. Hi, Trayvon. Yes, listen, you guys, it is a tragedy for you to actually have a hit song, but you didn't get everything cleared, or you're not out of a deal that you had before. To have to shut that record down, we've seen it, haven't we, Tracey? We've
seen it. We've seen it. I've seen it all in my career. Greg Davis came on. Want to tell a story about Bishop Greg Davis. So he's not new to the industry. We know him. We know him from TV and everything. But I had a song on him, and it was really churchy, Vicki. So this is always a big question that I get. Can I break through with something that's churchy, or should it be more contemporary, or should it be Can Praise and Worship breakthrough? And Bishop's single took off. And Kurt Franklin's Praise started playing it in other stations across the country. So what I say to that is also trust your heart. If this is the type of music God gave you, then that's what you should deliver. You shouldn't try to do another style of music because you think, oh, that's going to fit into what's going on. Do what God gave you. If he gave you quartet music, do quartet music.
That's right.
You know?
Right. And if you're hip-hop,
do hip-hop.
Your road a little different, and when it comes to hip hop, let's do this back over. You may have to. Social media is really important to hip hop.
Yes.
Media and but if that's what you are, don't try to do traditional music.
It's not gonna work. When I worked with Canton Jones, I wasn't trying to get Canton to change in any way. All I was doing was taking the music that I had on Canton to radio, because that's what I was hired to do. But I also noted, I'm speaking of him as an artist, because I think this is important for artists to know. There's some artists that are, their delivery is diversified and they can do a myriad of things. So Canton can rap, but Canton can also sing. So I heard a song on him called Windows, and I remember telling his manager and him, let's put this track out on Canton. This is a really, really good song. And it broke through at gospel radio. And what it showed his audience and what it showed, radio, was that he wasn't just a rapper. He also could sing.
Well, look at PJ Morton.
Prime example.
Go from Maroon 5 to, Stellar Awards and everything else in the gospel side and doing stuff with his father. So you need to do what's true to you, but you need to have a track record with it.
You need to stay true to your industry too. You need to stay true to your industry. I'm glad you brought up PJ. I love PJ. And PJ was already in the urban space before coming into gospel. But what I do get irritated by is that for people that they don't even believe in this genre. If you don't believe in this genre, then you don't need to be in this genre. But if you love gospel music and you want to break through as a gospel artist, then ask God to give you that platform in this space. Some of these artists are all over the place, and I don't get that.
Tracey,
I don't get that.
I'm gonna get a little messy. Girl, I remember, and you can tell some horror stories yourself. This girl that went out, and her manager was a pastor, actually, from Atlanta. We took her to a GMWA, and she decided she was gonna sing in pants and drop it like it was hot. Girl.
Yes.
I was like, oh
guess who was there? Who was at the radio? I'm not gonna say the name, but it was
the biggest radio. He got shut down by
Yeah.
one of the conglomerates. That was it.
Yes, it was.
She could never do another thing because she decided she was going to drop down and sing and then get back up on a contemporary song.
Yes.
No, you got.
And there might have been a time and a space for that, but it wasn't there.
It wasn't
and that's
that
another
place.
thing I admonish artists. Make sure before you walk in a room, you know who's in the room and you know what you should be delivering in that room. If you're asked to be a guest psalmist, sing and take your seat, because someone then is coming to deliver the preached word after you sing, right? So you don't want to have wrecked the room so bad where the person coming to preach can't even get order back in the room.
It's disrespectful, and
it's disrespectful. Yes.
Now, what we used to always tell our artists is call ahead of time.
Yes.
There are countries still that do not allow women to wear pants at all.
Right.
And I told this story before, where I told this to our daughters, and one of our daughters decided she was going to wear pants. They were flowy pants. This was in Haiti. She went to my husband's country, and somebody wrote her a letter and told her she was going to hell. Because that's how they felt about that. Know your audience. Thank you, Gospel Central. That's exactly right. And dress accordingly, because some people are just not going to have it, and they have some funny little rules.
But especially if you're going to be on the platform. So there's a whole other requirement. Yeah. So if you're going to be, even if you're not performing, if you're sitting up there, that was She was.
It's very, very important. It's also important to be versed on topics that are going on in the country. Because a lot of times, I heard one of my artists on the interview today, they didn't just ask him about his single and his project. They asked him, how do you feel about Will Smith and the slap with Chris Rock? And he answered it how he felt. Then they said, how do you feel about Ukraine? And he answered the question.
That's right.
But I think it's very, very important, specifically for gospel artists and gospel stations being all over the country, even know something about the individual markets. I don't want to be talking to someone in Dallas, Texas, and let's say Dallas just had a mass shooting and I don't even know about it.
You don't even, exactly.
And that's something that Bernice Watson absolutely brought to our artists at Gospel Centric. Our senior VP, when I was there, she used to say, read USA Today, because they're always going to give information about what's going on across the country. Now we can just Google, right? We can just go on the internet and look at trending stories.
Right. Look it up.
That's right.
But you know,
just to mention, just really quick, Jay Black mentioned, which is true, that what we're saying about women is true for men too. When you get just appropriate.
Yes.
Let's talk about it a little bit right now, because we have a new Supreme Court Justice. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown. And you know, the whole thing about hairstyles, and especially for African American women, how you present yourself. Let's talk about that a little bit. Tracey, what do you think about that? First of all, as having someone as esteemed as that, and the whole thing with the Crown Act and their hair and all of that. Let's talk about that.
So I love the fact that the Crown Act, you know, was even something that was brought to legislation, because it's important. I should be able to wear my hair the way I want to wear my hair. If I want to wear dreads, I should be able to wear dreads. If I want to wear my hair in braids, I should be able to wear my hair in braids. But I do think wherever I'm wearing that hairstyle to, it should still be neat and clean. And I should still, I shouldn't work at a restaurant and my hair is falling down in my face and I'm serving food. So I tell people, still use common sense in that space, right?
That's right.
Second thing, as it relates to her, amazing. Kudos to her. You know, a Harvard grad, 2 beautiful daughters, very articulate, sat through those hearings in the face of a lot of ignorance and still rose to the occasion, right? And we'll go down in history. So I was very proud to see it. Very proud. Very proud of Kamala Harris as well.
That's right. We have contrast now between the slap and Katanji and how you handle yourself, which gets me to another point. When you go to a concert or to a recital or whatever, don't just get up and sing your song and leave. Now, if you have to leave, you have to let the people in power at that church ahead of time so they can say, well, so-and-so is leaving early, and so we need to let them go. Otherwise, just like you wanted them to sit and hear you do your ministry, you need to sit and listen to that pastor and to that ministry. Bishop Greg Davis, don't you agree? I don't know if he's still on, but it is very rude to, I think, sometimes an artist is so big and they're coming in and coming out, but especially if you're new, you need to sit through everybody that
yes,
and don't
you
put your
should.
hand. You need to listen to everybody, because first of all, they may get big one day and you want to be on program with them.
And you know what, Vicki, that's where having a management or a team of people around you, because a lot of times we'll make a decision based on me, myself, and I, what I think is right. So that's why I always admonish people to have a team of people around you that you can trust, people that you trust in the spirit. Yes.
That's right. Barry. Yeah, I mean, it's true. And it's funny, but people watch you. They watch you. And I remember for us as a label, we got Curtis Berry Martin and Jay on. They watch you. So it can't just be that you get up and clap and praise God on your person that you brought. You need to encourage the ministry of other people too.
Right.
Because you don't know, they might be a client, they might be someone on your label, they just may be a blessing.
Right.
And you need to do that as well. Tracey, gosh, are you guys getting that feedback?
I don't know where the feedback's coming from. I don't know if it's from the mic. There's a mic somewhere there.
But you guys are able to hear us, right? Okay, so now I'm getting messy again. Tracey, as you can see, is a very beautiful woman. And when she was young, so I just happen to have some very attractive women working with me. So we had dress codes. It was very important to me that you go out and represent a certain way. And also, I would tell some of the people now, my people that are representing me are very attractive.
Right.
And expect you to make sure everything is right for them. For example, like you got to know when you can go up on a pulpit. There are certain churches that women can't go on the pulpit.
Right.
On the floor. You need to know that, or you need to know that if you're going to be in the front row, it's many places let you wear pants now, but everybody doesn't want you in minis on that front row.
Right. And we're talking about when we first started in the industry many years ago. I'm trying to think, probably my first time as a field rep before I started working for Gospel Century and me doing any work for you all, that was 1995. That was a long time ago, Yeah, because I started full-time in 97, the year I got married, and I'll be married 25 years this October.
Girl.
Golly.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's talk about you as an entrepreneur, because I know you're a great one for having multiple income streams. Let's talk about that and how you as a woman juggle that with your family and your husband. How he
right.
She is beautiful.
I think one of the key things is balance. I think, if I start trying to juggle things, Vicki, I might drop something. But if I really sit down and confer with my husband, pray, God's going to provide. So here's a story. When I got pregnant with Jasmine, who's 21 now and a junior at DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois, majoring in music business administration, I remember saying to Vicki, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, because it was my first child and I wanted to be with her. Surrounding yourself with wisdom, wise people. Vicki had already been a mother. You said, no, you don't have to leave your job. You just need to get a nanny. So I did. And so the nanny traveled with me. Gospel Central was kind enough to get rooms for the get a room for the nanny, sometimes even bring the nanny so that the nanny could be out with Jasmine, but I could still be working. So that's how I first started balancing being a wife, mother, and working in the music industry. Okay, so now I have I Hear Music too, which is a booking agency, I Hear Music Promotions and Marketing firm, and a nonprofit that I named after my children, Jazz Jordan Incorporated. And we plan and execute the Black Family Reunion, started by Dorothy Height 34 years ago across the country. Cincinnati is the only one of her original group that's left. I've been the director of it for 9 years. So how do I balance all of this? Teams are very important. There may be different groups of people that help me balance all of this, but they do. I have an excellent attorney, Daryl Jones in Chicago. He covers me in that realm, right? I have a makeup artist. I don't want to go anywhere and I'm looking bad. She helps me balance that. I have someone that helps me with my wardrobe. I have an assistant. She's on here. I saw her come on. Equates to White. She's in Dallas, Texas. Amazing. And she has helped me tremendously. I have other people on my promotions and marketing team to help me in different areas. So you're only as strong as your team, because there's not been anything that I could do alone. Then as it relates to my husband, he believed in me. You know, he wanted to see me grow and go to the next level. And I had a mother who also was very, very brilliant as it related to business and, you know, being an entrepreneur. She was an IT person for Procter & Gamble until she retired. So that's what she did for 11. And my father was an engineer, a chemical engineer for Procter & Gamble. They both were P&G people. So I came from really, really brilliant people. So a lot of times I didn't have to go far, Vicki and Clyde, to get answers to my questions. You know, I would say, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Right? So I've enjoyed it, but everybody is not called to it. So sometimes you see people come to this and it doesn't work out. But if you were called to it, that's when work doesn't feel like work, it's destiny. And that's what I feel like it's been for me.
Yeah, I agree, Tracey, and I know I had to have when Gospel Central was at its peak, I had to have a housekeeper come in.
Yes, I still do.
During the week,
I couldn't balance the house.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't balance a 3-story house. I couldn't do it
every day. I had to have every day because to me it was important that when I got home, the house was clean, the dishes were clean, and my husband could just relax and I could be a wife. I mean, it's very important.
All that's great, and look, I appreciate all this. But let me just say this about Gospel Centric, because, you know, we talk, and this is not to diminish with Vicki, but we had a great team.
Yes.
And people don't realize that, you know, the top tier executives at Gospel Centric were women.
Yes.
They took care of business. They had support. There were men that supported. We had a lot of men that supported it, but the men let the women do their thing. Nobody was trying to, you know, shine and say, oh, no, you can't do this and da. You know, it was an environment where we wanted everybody to succeed. And that's the, I think, a key element for a good team, when you want your team members to succeed.
That's right.
I totally agree. We had
and just to say, you were one of those top tier executives.
That's right.
Oh, you know what? Listen,
you were, girl. Come on.
I had a great run while I was there, and I still feel such a strong connection to you all. And I love Vicki, you know, and she knows that. And she's a huge reason why I have been able to do this at the level that I've been able to continue to do it, because I sat at her feet and I learned so much. Bernice Watson was amazing to work with. Monica Bacon, Gretchen Newell. There were a lot of amazing. Lucy Diaz-Kurtz.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Lucy. I remember my friend Ike Owens. You know, I remember Kevin Bond being there.
We had Jay Black, of course. course, we had Curtis Berry Martin. We had so many. And
we had field reps. David P.A. was in Chicago. We had field reps all over the country. We did.
Right. That's right. Do you know it's the 20th year anniversary of Stomp, and we really need to do something.
Get you a NFT on Stomp.
Yeah.
You said 20th? I think Stomp was out longer than 20.
You said what?
Stomp came out in 97.
97. So it was 27. It was just prior before the pandemic.
It came out the year I got married. I remember going on tour with GP, so it's 25 years old.
So we did 25.
25.
Girl.
So we do something.
Lord have mercy.
We should do something.
Yeah, 25 because the
25
20s passed us up. But yeah. So okay. So I love what you're talking about, balancing your life is. This is the thing too, you guys. When you see us out and about, it seems so glamorous. That's about the only time it's glamorous. It seems like it looks glamorous. This is not a glamorous business like it looks like. And if you take it that way, you will lose out. There's a lot of
trench work.
Yeah.
It's servanthood. I always tell people it's servanthood. There will be times where I would get to a hotel and I'm checking all my artists in. I'm making sure they have their per diem. They get to their room. Then I'm running over to the church early, the sound check, whatever I had to do when I was in the marketing. Sometimes I was the last to eat, right? And the last to go to bed, but I got my job done.
That's right. Trey, you remember that time we were in, I don't know, we had been at GMWA or something, and we had to go to Nashville, and it rained. And we didn't have our clothes, and so Franklin all like bums in a way. So they had to apologize for that. We did the thing, and then we didn't have our room, so we had we put 2 king-size beds together, and had about 7 in one bed. That's the way it is.
And we were fine.
And we were fine.
We were fine. We were fine.
When you have to do what you have to do.
There was no time to really be grand. We just had to do what we were doing. Now, Tracey, I want to know, I'm changing the subject. Girl, what's your favorite perfume? You know, I'm really getting into fragrance.
Yes.
Dessert crazy. So
I'm a Jimmy Choo girl. I'm a Jimmy Choo. I love Jimmy. I love it, and I wear the different fragrances, but I really love the original. That's probably my favorite. I also am starting to get more into fragrances, but Vicki, I like oils. There's a lot of oils.
Essentials. You like essentials?
Yes.
Tell you about some of these oils, girl.
I really do.
Nest has an oil from Lush. You can put it in your hair, on your body, and you could just swish around like that.
Oh yeah.
Especially African American women's hair. It's a great depository for these oils. And, girl, they have a Madagascar vanilla. Girl, you switch that hair around, and it is crazy.
I love it. I love it.
Well, Tracey, we need to know what's the future like for Tracey Artis. What's new? What news should we be looking forward to from you? And
okay. So let's see. Right now that I'm promoting, look out for new music from Brian Courtney Wilson, Sure As.
That's right.
An amazing song. Love him. My new Marvin Sapp, All in Your Hands. New artist I'm working with by the name of Gene Hoskins with a single called Make It With Jesus. So that's some new music, and artists that I'm currently working. I have the Motown roster. So over there I have Ricky Dillard, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, Brian Courtney Wilson, but I've had Evie McKinney, there as well. So still enjoy the promotions and marketing. What's coming up for me? A vow renewal. I'm going to renew my vows this year. So that's something personally I'm going to do because we'll be married 25 years. Also, I'm a new author. I wrote a book about my mother called Susan's Story, and it's geared toward elementary students. So I'm in the phase now of having it published and distributed. So hopefully in the next 2 months, we should be able to see it and pre-order it.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a book about her and her life, how she started from humble beginnings and became the mayor of the town.
A dear friend that
Natalie Wilson just came on.
Natalie Wilson and SOP, my first girl choir director.
Oh, gosh, that was great. Also, I want to mention 2 other big things that have happened in our faith-based world. First of all, we want to congratulate Phil Thornton, who has broken the glass ceiling completely and is going to be head of Christian music, both black and white Christian music for that's
CMG.
really, yeah, CMG. And we always want, for CMG. Also want to congratulate the Versus folks, Mary and BB and Susan, for doing a tremendous job last Sunday. And so, Tracey, we got to have you back on.
Okay.
One day, we got to make sure we got the clearances. But I'd like to just hear some of the music, go over some of the music that
I love it.
Going on right now. And we love you so much.
Love you. Love you all. So glad I got to see your father. And I want to say to Mr. Mack, you are one of my favorite people of all times. I was in Las Vegas in the lobby of the hotel for the Stellars a couple years ago, and I heard this voice say, "No, that is Tracey. That is Tracey." And he was with your mother and your sister, and they were debating if it was me. But Mr. Mack knew that it was me. And me and him just came back together like we had always been together. So I love you so much, Mr. Mack.
That don't know, he just fell asleep. But for those of you that don't know, my dad used to work with us also. So we all work together. And we've got to have a reunion. I'm going to wait to see what's happening with this documentary. But, you know,
we'll keep you guys posted.
Around that.
Keep you posted.
But thank you guys so much.
Tracey.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for having me.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting us. And remember, you can get us on YouTube. And we really, really appreciate you coming and supporting us on Thursdays. It means the world to us. So thank you so much. And we'll see you next week with another great guest. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
What's up?
Thank you so much for watching Carfitable
Talks.
Thank you. Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
Leave some comments. We really need to hear from you.
thank you.